and welcome back to the latest episode of the UK Glamping podcast. This week we are joined by a special guest, as always, and we thought we'd take the opportunity this week to highlight one of our client sites for you. So we have with us today the Scanlans. Thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you for having us.
So we are here in one of your units, actually, at East Rigg Lodges. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are and where people can find you?
Yeah, sure. So East Rigg Lodges. So East Rigg is located just outside Balerno, and we're on the boundary of the Pentland Hills Regional Park. And we're about 6 miles from the airport, 10 miles from Edinburgh. So it's a sort of a really good location. You know, it's in quite a remote location. It's right in the countryside, but it's got access to Edinburgh and the sort of central belt of Scotland. So it's a good base for people that are looking to explore.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought that when I drove up today. Actually, is you're really not that far away from an urban environment, if that's what you're looking for, restaurants, takeaways, but you wouldn't know it. It's so peaceful and so quiet out here. It's a shame we don't have the weather today to highlight the views that you get for the Pentland Hills, but we'll put some imagery and some videos up with the podcast that shows just how stunning the Pentlands can be. So tell us a little bit about why you decided to set up, how long you've been operating.
Yeah, sure. So we bought the site in 2011, and we bought it. I mean, it was an old farmsteading at 2.5 acres, and we bought it as it was an opportunity to develop as a family home. But we also at that time recognised that there was the potential to develop the site and to do other things with it.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2011 to 2019, we renovated the main farmhouse, which is now our family home, and then subsequent to that, we split the site into three 3/4 acre plots.
Right.
So we built a 4-bedroom house on the plot to the east of the site, which we rented for 4 years as a sort of a holiday let. And then the opportunity, we got planning permission for this plot, which is another 3/4 acre plot, to develop the Woodland Lodges. And so we basically sold the house and then used the money to set this site up. So we broke ground May of last year. We opened in November, and so we've now been trading for 7 or 8 months.
Yeah. So between breaking ground and getting open, then you managed to get that turnaround quite quickly. Prior to that, the actual process of getting the planning approved, was that, I don't believe we helped you with that phase of your project, but how did you find that? Was that a lengthy process, or?
Yeah, so the planning was a lengthy process, and partly because when we first, so this was 170 trees, just non-native conifers on the site.
Right, okay.
They were falling over, and we needed to do something with it. And originally we put a planning application to see if we could build a house on the site here.
Okay.
But because this is a conservation area, we obviously came up against some challenges with respect to that. And so in the discussions with the planning people, we sort of floated the idea of developing woodland lodges on the site, and they were much more favourable to that.
Fantastic.
So we did go through it was probably over a 18-month, 2-year process, and it wasn't straightforward. Even though the planning officer gave us a sort of a verbal thumbs up that they were going to support it, we then had it rejected through Edinburgh, and we ended up going to appeal. And we used, my advice to anyone would be, you really need to have somebody as a specialist that understands that sector. So we used a consultant that had some experience of working with planning and had worked specifically on a pod development before.
Perfect.
And we wouldn't have had the knowledge or been able to navigate our way through that process.
Well, nobody does. That's the thing with the glamping industry. It's still such a young industry now that there aren't a lot of people out there that do have that industry-specific experience.
Yeah.
And anyone who's listened to our podcast before, you'll have no doubt met Callum by now.
Yeah.
Will know that that's exactly how we came to exist.
Yeah.
Is he had a lot of the same issues when he was setting his sites up and faced a few wranglings with planning officers. But that's fantastic. So you've been open since last November, so not far off a year now.
Yeah.
How have you found it? Has it been super straightforward? Has there been a bit of seasonality to it? How's it been for you?
I don't think we really know that yet, to be fair. It's because we're still going through first year. We're kind of working that out as we go. But we did what we might call a soft launch, I would say. Mm-hmm. So we opened in November, but we didn't really we only had weekend bookings, not deliberately, but as it happened, we only got weekend bookings through up to middle of December. And we were then away for a long time over Christmas and New Year. So we closed it because we didn't think we were ready to be running, not to be around, because obviously we're next door. So we closed it and started again in mid-January. And then, and it just was, slow, started to build. And from April has been crazy. Much busier than actually we thought, or really even that we planned for. So, which is great.
Nice headache to have.
Yes. So, but we're still not really sure what will happen, obviously, as we head back into the winter, because we've not gone through a winter properly. So we'll see how that goes. But but it's been
fantastic. Not surprised to get picked up around April time. That's the typical kind of peak period, is April, obviously, through. And what in theory is a summer, not that you're looking at it here today, that comes with the territory in Scotland. You mentioned obviously that you went away and you shut it down for a while, but you are in theory set up for this to run relatively without your kind of day-to-day involvement, aren't you?
Much more so now.
I noticed there's kind of key box drop-off for people to get their keys and things, so I take it that's part of the process when customers book with you, is it?
So everybody gets their instructions, so they can arrive, park up, get their keys out. We've got a little reception hut. They can get their keys out of that. It should all be clear. We've got a Ring doorbell in there in case anybody has any problems. And so everybody should be pretty much fine. But obviously, it's easier to be around if there are any issues. But it's been fine. And part of the reason we set up the reception hut was also, from a management perspective, it's our store. Half of it is our store for our laundry and the cleaning products, but the other half we've got in there a washer dryer, an ironing board, and everything. So we try and, although we are in the Pentlands Park and we've got beautiful walks and everything, we are catering. We're very conscious we cater for more than that. So we have a couple of wedding venues around here. We've had wedding guests, so you need to be able to iron something potentially,
of course,
and all that stuff. So we're trying to cope with every eventuality.
Do you know, a Ring doorbell seems such a simple solution for if somebody actually does need to get in touch with us. I can't believe I've never come across that before. That's a really clever little way to do it. So you mentioned obviously you've got wedding venues on your doorstep, and we've got Edinburgh just down the road. So did you set up with a particular kind of target audience in mind? Did you choose your pods accordingly, or?
Yeah, we decided at an early stage that we were going to basically try and target sort of a high-end luxury romantic weekend couples, and so we've set up specifically, so the lodges and the way they've been designed is really set up for two people. And that could be a couple, could be friends, and all other pods have the potential to sleep full. We've decided to just target couples and to sort of try and create something that's very spacious and very luxurious. And somebody goes away thinking, that's a fantastic place to stay, rather than trying to cater for lots of different markets. And certainly if we had 4 people stay in the pod, I think it's a very different experience because you're catering for more people in the space.
100%. I think you've judged it beautifully. It's a stunning layout you've got in here, and whilst you've got obviously the option of a sofa bed in the sort of space you're sitting in at the moment, I think 4 adults would probably feel quite a lot. But it's lovely to be able to have that option that you don't have to share a bed if it is for 2 friends rather than a couple or something like that. So certainly a very clever use of space on the inside. We've seen all sorts of different interior layouts with these units, and quite often they can be quite narrow. But the way you've laid it out has left you with an awful lot more kind of headspace and just a lot of feeling of light in the units as well, actually, compared to some of the ones I've seen, which is nice.
We did a few things. The window in the bedroom, we went for the largest window that we could, and so that creates. You've got fantastic
staring
views.
Straight out the views as well.
And so that's what we wanted. So we sort of upgraded in a few parts of the pod, and that was one of them, was to go for the biggest window we could.
Absolutely, money well spent. I would have thought. What a view to wake up to on the nice weather. And one thing that we see a lot more now is people asking us about use of outdoor space and the kind of space around your units. Now, I noticed that you have made a decision that we don't see an awful lot of at the moment, which is you've got those lovely big outdoor baths rather than what some people might do as a hot tub or something else. So what prompted that decision?
Well, I'm going to jump in. We were really, really pushed by everyone we spoke to get hot tubs. I mean, really pushed and told we were making the wrong decision. But part of the issue is we are in the middle of nowhere, so we're not on main sewage and we're not on mains water.
Right.
So we don't really. So we have a treatment plant for our sewage and things. You can't really just keep pumping chemicals down there. It's not a good idea. And so we didn't want to do that. It's also obviously a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of cost. It's not particular. I mean, we're not super eco, but we do try to be. We've got eco products everywhere and that kind of thing. So we just thought running an engine all the time just doesn't seem like a good thing. Having to clean it out constantly, etc., chemicals. So we went against the flow, and we bought the big baths, and we have had nothing but praise from people. They absolutely love them.
Yeah, I was flicking through your guest book earlier actually before we started, and it seems to be getting mentioned in just about every single comment in there. It seems to be a very popular feature.
And I think it's completely quiet. So at the end of a night, if you want to go in there in the dark, unlike a hot tub, which of course is constantly got an engine, you can just lie and look at the stars in complete silence. And there's nothing to beat it, really. Somebody left about to buy one for their back garden because they loved it so much.
So it's a really good idea, and the hot tubs is it's something we get asked about all the time because it's on most websites' kind of default lists now when you're ticking fixtures, which I think is probably why so many people think about it. But it just goes to show there are an incredible amount of options out there to help set yourself apart from the competition.
It was actually a real challenge. So actually, there's not many people. I mean, we couldn't find any suppliers locally in the UK that made baths that they recommended for outdoor use.
Right.
And so you buy something, and if something goes wrong with it, they say, well, it's not an outdoor bath.
And of course, because of where we are, we get weather.
Yeah.
Big time weather. So we needed something to be suitable.
So we did a bit of research, and we actually ended up finding a supplier in China that manufactures artificial stone baths, and so we set ourselves up as an importer just to import them. But they were, whereas you would have been paying, £4,000-5,000, for a decent bath in the UK, we ended up getting those for $700.
Wow!
But then had to cover the cost of importing them on a boat. Yeah. But it was, I mean, we've been absolutely delighted with them. Yeah. They've been great.
Well, it shows. I mean, they look lovely quality and they're absolutely massive. So I'm guessing you have to be quite patient waiting for it to fill up. But other than that, what a lovely experience to offer. Yeah. So where can people find you if they're obviously watching this and they want to come and say and experience it for themselves? Is it just your website or are you on other platforms?
We've got a website. We're also on, we're advertised through Airbnb and Booking.com. So all three, we can take bookings through those routes. And we obviously have Instagram and Facebook pages, and we've had help from Propelling Parrot and helping us.
Oh, perfect. You spoke to Tal, have you?
Yeah, we had a little training course of about 4 sessions with Tal.
Amazing.
So we should help tremendously, in fact, because we're not of the age where we do those things naturally.
Socials are so important, and I'm the same. Like I've got no time for Instagram and things like that. I keep Facebook just to stay in touch with people more than anything else. But it's amazing how easy it can become once you get into the swing of things. We'll put details of all your socials and your website in the episode description. So anybody watching or listening, do please check them out.
It's worth mentioning. I mean, so that was an area that Glam Protect helped us out considerably with the website. So.
Good.
We didn't really have a lot of experience, and it wasn't just the website, but it was the website and the integration into the back end,
and the
channel management
side,
booking platforms,
and then to be able to integrate with all of the other booking platforms. So again, that was something that was, we hadn't really thought. We thought we would need a website, but we didn't realize just what was out there and how detailed and involved it was, and actually how efficient that enables us then to manage the site. Once you've got all of that in place, and so that was, there was an investment there, but it was money well worth spent in terms of how we manage the site now.
Yeah, I don't think you can overestimate the amount of work that actually saves as a good channel management system between the laundry people coming in if you're not doing your own laundry, if you want to get an external company in, and managing those bookings across multiple platforms. If that's not automated, that's a full-time job probably. So it really is a significant amount of hours. I'm glad to hear that you've seen the value in it. So, before we finish up, we tend to ask all of our guests for kind of pearl of wisdom or a little nugget that they've kind of learned along the way that they would maybe offer to anybody setting up a site or just starting out on their journey. Is there anything in particular that you would feel you learned a valuable lesson from?
I would say if you're going specifically into the pod market, I would say make sure that you visit the pod manufacturer and touch and feel and see the product and understand the flexibility and how it can be configured. So we actually, when we started and put the planning application in, we actually went with another pod design, and that was tied into the plans, and we realised it actually probably wasn't what we wanted.
Right.
And then through discussions with Glampitect and identifying other pod manufacturers, we came across Pod Factory. We went down to see them, and we've ended up, I think, getting a product that's well tested and manufactured, and we're delighted with it. But in hindsight, earlier in the process, I would have been identifying that pod manufacturer and making that decision before we actually went into the planning application process. So it took us a bit longer because we had to then put a non-material variation, etc.
Yeah, really good piece of advice. And if anyone is looking to come and touch and feel units like you've seen in the video today, we're always happy to arrange a visit to the Pod Factory. But likewise, the annual glamping show is coming up on the 18th to the 20th of September, which is a really good opportunity to see lots of different people all in one place. So get yourself onto the glamping show website, get yourself some tickets booked, and that'd be where we'd look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much for coming along. As I say, we'll put all your contact details in the episode description, so if anybody's looking to come and stay and take advantage of the stunning views here at East Rigg, then you know where to find the details. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.